Hold on. Okay, it's crazy. It's like 12 different buttons to record. It's have you seen the some of the new cars have the emergency 911 feature, the emergency call feature. It goes off if your airbags go off,
Right.
but it also has a button. It has a button so you can call the cops or whatever.
Yeah.
And and just like the nuclear missile launches, they have this little cover over it so you don't accidentally press it. So you got to pull the little cover down and then press it. And then a little lady comes on and says, "Are you sure? Do you want to call emergency services?" By now, the guy's carjacked me, or my car's burned to the ground, or
Right,
weasels have
right,
already eaten my entire body. By the time I find the little thing, pull the cover down, press the button, the little artificial
right.
lady comes on. "Are you sure you want to engage emergency services?" So
All those
it's
steps.
yeah, doing the same stuff with this recording. So now we're recording. You're going to tack a rousing welcome onto the front of this, right, Walter?
Yes, yeah.
Well, Brandon, yeah, you were just talking about driving in Mississippi, and was it the Catfish Shack or the Catfish Point or the? Well, every restaurant in Mississippi is named Catfish something, whether it's a prefix or a suffix. I'm not sure.
All right.
And that was when you met Walter.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yep, he was
Man.
slightly smaller at the time.
Yes. Slightly. Yes. Boy, that's bringing back some memories there with him. That's bringing back some memories. Yeah, I do remember that. Well, what did we stay there for? What was it Bob and it's about was it 3 or 4 other folks? We stayed for about 3 or 4 days.
Yep, something like that. It was yeah, Bob and Mike.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ed Carlin was there. He might have been.
Yeah, I think Ed was there. Yeah.
Yep, and now they've all retired. Just you and me again, and Walter.
Yeah, they can't ask me because of law when am I going to retire. Uh, I said I enjoy what I'm doing, and you keep giving me good reviews, so I'll just keep swinging.
Yep. Well, yeah, we're just doing it till the end, right?
Well, here's the thing: if I do stop doing what I'm doing, it's like a teacher or a coach getting away from watching your creation grow and bloom. Yeah, I can go on a speaking tour, but all I'm doing is talking to an audience, getting applause, going to another venue, and you're away from your students. So I enjoy being with the sales consultants, service advisors, receptionists, going to the high schools, trying to attract the seniors that are not going to college and trying to get them to be a technician or a salesperson or something. So,
Yeah, that's great. So, tell us a little bit about all the different hats you wear over there at Jim Ellis, and the different things that you're engaged in. I mean, obviously, you're the director of sales training, but you did bring up receptionists and service advisors and technicians.
when I came on, they had been 3 years with a family member since it's a family group and still remains a family group. One of the family members was director of sales training when I was with Asbury. So when he passed, they had reached out and said, "We want to do something." Then they called later and said, "Well, we're going to put it off." They had 8 dealerships at that time. Then when they got to 11 dealerships, I was working with my company with a Ford certified pre-owned program. And they called me and said, "Well, you want to get off the road? We're about ready for a trainer now." So during the interviews with the Ellises and the VPs, I asked, "Well, who's working with the receptionist?" And they said, "Nobody." Who's working with the BDC sales and service? Uh, Nobody. Well, who's taking your banner out into the community? Well, marketing does some things. I'm saying, well, no, I'm talking about going to the Chamber of Commerce, going to the high schools. They said nobody. I said, well, okay, I'll take all that. So we went back and forth, and they met my price, and so I am, in a sense, director of sales training. But any position that is customer facing, That's pretty much what I'm in charge of, along with community relations. So keeps me busy, but like we had said before we came on air, I enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy it. Went to a couple of high schools today, besides going to a couple of dealerships. Did a podcast for Jennifer Suzuki, a national big time person. And so I'm having fun.
Great. Yeah, I mean, there was this book, Every Employee is a Salesperson. Everybody is a reflection of whatever organization that you're with. I mean, that's true at Advanta-STAR. It's got to be true at the dealership because, I mean, everybody represents the dealership. There was that old canard of the salesman on the floor waiting to take it up. And, they're sitting together in a group and guy walks in, the guy, oh, that's guy's for service. Or, oh, that guy's just going to parts. And, when I train salespeople, I mean, that just made me curl up and die a little bit inside. I mean, they don't have human beings that are parts human beings and human beings that are service human beings and human beings that are car buyer human beings.
Right.
If the guy's going to service, he bought a car and he's probably going to buy another one. If the guy's going to parts, he bought a car, he needs parts for a car. He's not buying parts for a bicycle, probably. Although now these dealerships sell bicycle. It's crazy. The first time I saw a Jeep bicycle. But the point being that everybody, I mean, the warranty clerk, the comptroller, everybody is a reflection of that dealership. And so you're taking care of that spirit and helping to put that forward so that the dealership's culture and the dealership's forward-looking face and personality is always being taken care of because that's brutally important in the marketplace and just in the community.
No, you hit it on the head. And being the largest automotive group in the Atlanta market area, being a family group, and taking it one step further, being a Christian group, we have a bullseye on us as far as consistency goes. So I had a new hire sales training class last week. So after we give them the Jim Ellis process, we send them out mystery shopping to their competitors that are going to be in their community. So they can see on Thursday what a customer sees. They come back to class Friday and they debrief with everybody else in class. And I just say on the scale of 1 to 5, if you were a customer, 5 being the best, how would you rate it? Been with the Ellises 9.5 years, at least had one class a month. Nobody's gotten a 5 before. They gave somebody a 3, but they said, many times they say, can I give them a minus? You were there. I wasn't. You can give them anything you want, but that's how customers are being treated. And Whitman and Walter, people will buy from somebody that lies to them. Now, may not have a relationship where I get a referral or get another shot at you, but yeah. Can you sell a car? Yeah, you can sell a car with no processes at all. But our thing is, like I said, since we are family, since we're Christian, we make sure that we greet everyone. Even if a salespeople are having something at the tower, the receptionists are trained to anybody that comes across that threshold. They're inviting, and we do the right thing just because of what you said with them. So you're right. Everybody in every department is in that sales hat. I like what you said there.
Oh, that's great. And that's funny because when I first got into the business, that was part of our training too. We went to other dealerships. And of course, if you hear different points of view on that, and this is probably coming from some of the dealerships that got negative numbers on those little tests.
Yeah.
Is that what you're sending your new trainees out to spy on other dealerships and stuff? Is it yeah, but not because they're going to steal any of what you're doing.
No,
they're going to avoid it like the plague. Some of these what they're seeing, hopefully,
right.
Hopefully they won't emulate any of it.
When I first came the first year at Jim Ellis, across the street from our corporate offices, where we have 10 dealerships on the street, there's a Group 1 store, a Toyota store across, and we're going to get that one. But when I first did it, the very first month, the GM caught on of what I was doing, came across the street, found our CEO, and got the Ellises together. And he was there, and and my CEO asked me, "Are you sending people out mystery shopping?" I said, "Yeah, we just started doing that. I'm trying to compare what we do." And all he did was shake his head and said, "Keep it up. just keep it up." And we've been keeping it up.
That's a smart CEO.
Yeah. Jimmy was good. He, first generation passed away, second generation passed away. So since 2023, been third generation. So.
Yep, they have a lot of generational dealerships. I mean, some of these big publicly owned groups are buying a lot of them up, and so the landscape's changing, a good bit, but they still have a lot of these outfits. I mean, the one I started with, the Crown Group, they only have one dealership, but they're still out there. And then another dealer down here that I worked with, the Bergerons, they're still at it, and they're on at least third generation.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets passed down because it gets in your blood. I mean, my grandfather sold Pontiacs and Buicks, so it just gets deeper and deeper in people's bloods, and so it's just a continual thing for a lot of families.
No,
So
my father had a body shop, and so I remember at 4, 5, 6, sweeping up, and eventually graduating to taking off rusty bumpers, and eventually can sand and mask the vehicle ready to be sprayed and whatnot. So yeah, stays in your blood. I always looked at it in those days, coming from a body shop, taking the product to a dealership. It was like going to Toys R Us. Saw all these great, beautiful new cars, all these colors, and whatnot. It was great. It was great.
Oh, they tell me the story of when I escaped my parents when we were visiting the Stephen Chevrolet where my grandfather worked, and they found me riding the little what were those things? The little escalators that like you just jumped on.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like an OSHA violation, how to of like 1 through 18 of thousands and millions of dollars worth of fines. The little thing that went in both directions and stuff, and guys just jumped on, going floor to floor. Because that was back in the day when dealerships were downtown instead of out in the suburbs, and so they were locked in, and they had the multi-level garages for the units and for the parking and for the inventory and for the the service cars and everything. They didn't have these big sprawling lots everywhere, so everything had to be kind of packed up high. I think Stevens, that original building's still there. There was even a Maserati dealership not too long ago, maybe 10 years.
Huh.
And then it's now I forget. I think it's a condo or something.
Yeah, but we're very fond memories of going to that. The closest thing, nothing that I've seen around the Atlanta or in the South, but closest thing would be when I was back in North Jersey or working Manhattan. You would see that concept of where they would have 3, 4, 5 levels and still had to have parking and whatnot. So yeah, miss those days.
Yep. I guess in Manhattan and a few other places on the East Coast, they probably still have a little of that. Maybe Chicago, but even in New Orleans, and it's not been that long, but now the dealerships are all out of downtown. I'm trying to think, the last one would have been Sewell Cadillac Chevrolet. Of course, that went out of business during Katrina.
Oh, okay.
So that was, I believe that was the last one. Now it's a Rouse's grocery store.
Oh, is it?
Yep. Pretty location and everything. So we were talking before the thing about the new Ford Mustang. So let me try to get it right. It's the Ford Mustang Dark Horse Supercharged.
Supercharged. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw it at the New York Auto Show. It's got the nice little SC on there.
Okay.
And it's funny because the font of the SC looks an awful lot like the font on CS from the old Carroll Shelbys.
Oh, okay.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Take a look when you get one in and compare it to see.
Right, we'll do.
Someone is trying to evoke something from the past.
Well, as long as they leave Lee Iacocca alone, that'll be all right. let him rest.
The father of the Mustang, boy.
I say that to people, and I know I'm giving away my age, but I say that in class, and they say, "Who?" Okay. Do you remember somebody who made something called a Mustang? Oh yeah, Mustang. Yeah, yeah, Lehigh Coca. So
Yep.
just tell them my age, I guess. So.
Yeah, they don't remember at all the old saving of Chrysler. I mean, they probably go saving of who? How someone saved Chrysler?
Well,
Did someone tell Chrysler that someone saved Chrysler?
well, I just remember we put out a lot of K cars. If it wasn't for the government purchasing all those K cars,
Oh yeah,
so
I
I,
once saw an FBI K car get courtesy delivered.
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, and the guy told me because it had two exhaust tips on the back, and K cars didn't have that.
Right.
And so I said, "Hey, can I pop the hood on that?" And the guy said, "No, because then it's a federal crime and I have to take you into custody." I think he was probably teasing me, but yeah, you can never be sure.
Right. Right. So, getting back to Advanta-STAR, you were saying that you had something coming up that you're trying to put together. That'd be great because we still use it heavily. I don't know about some of your other clientels around the nation, but whenever you started with Jim Ellis, I wasn't there. I was over at Asbury, but we use it and didn't need Mike to come to town since I knew the product and worked with the product. So, but what's the next evolution of Advanta-STAR look like?
Well, two things really. First of all, we've had a complete redesign. We've gone to more of an interactive mode where each comparison comes up with just the very first statement, and then there are arrows. So the client on the forward-facing website interacts more by clicking through the arrows to see each statement of an advantage and benefit put together. Other than
Gotcha.
that, the content is still the same, but now being more interactive, we believe that there's going to be a lot more time on site, and that people will get a lot more from it because it's easier to take something bite by bite. And so by
Mhm.
having one comparison advantage on the screen at a time, it lets the customer focus on that, absorb it, or the salesperson if he's using it to brief himself on an automobile and or its competitors. And so then after the customer or the salesperson has completely digested that nugget with the feature, the explanation of the feature, the benefit, and then the advantage over the competition, then they can click the arrow and get the very next one.
Mhm.
And so that they can go through like that, or they can choose a category like safety, reliability, engine, brakes and stopping, different categories, and go directly to something that interests them. And again, then just step through the different advantages in those specific categories.
Hmm.
So that's an exciting thing. It's got a new look. It's a lot more customizable. So you can put custom backgrounds behind the comparisons on your websites. You can change, well, you've always been able to change the fonts and the colors, but now there's more organized themes that you can choose from and select things that more match the style of, say Ford
Mhm.
or, Maserati or whatever makes and models you're trying to present with the comparison directly. And so that's the change internally on the structure. Externally in the process is we're going to go to a Zoom meeting type of round robin training sessions where
Ah,
we'll be scheduling training with entire dealerships or even subsets of dealer groups to be able to introduce them not only to the changes but probably to the whole system itself, since with either the turnaround or the new blood coming in,
yeah.
somebody always needs to learn about what Advanta-STAR can do for them,
Yes.
what Advanta-STAR can help the customer with as far as being able to feel more comfortable buying an automobile because you know what its benefits are to you,
Hmm.
instead of just knowing a laundry list of uh, acronyms and different fuzzy nomenclature that doesn't really explain itself, like
Right. Right.
StabiliTrack or Advanta-STAR or DSC or ABC or LMNOP. And
Right.
so
Gotcha. Gotcha. I like that.
this
Okay.
just lets us introduce it to a lot more people, whereas you're familiar with the old paradigm where we went to a dealership and scheduled a live training.
Hmm.
In fact, this will probably date me just as well as Lee Iacocca name dropping. I used to have one of those big overhead projectors,
Hmm.
with the little loud fan motor
Yeah.
going, and had the little acetates with the printouts on them of the
Right.
different sections, and
Yep.
throw it on a big screen,
Yep.
in the live audience. But yeah, now we can do all this with computer technology, where I don't have to try to find out when exactly outside of the borders of New Orleans does gas station food become inedible. So I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Well,
Pleasantly surprised, Mississippi, the gas station food stays pretty edible through most of it.
well, it's still a great product. When I had that interview appointment set up with Bob at the Philadelphia airport, one of the hotels he was staying out there. I was scheduled to go downtown for a different interview, but I said, let me go out here and see that. So Bob, being Bob, was trying to be friendly, but when I took a look and saw what was inside those pages, I knew exactly in the process where I was going to use it. I was hooked right then. I don't know what Bob said to you when he called you and debriefed and all that, but I said, you got something here.
Well, if
And
you remember Bob, nobody knows what Bob said to me when he called me. It's like, I don't retired driver. Something like that, I believe, verbatim was what he said.
well, but you had something, and I said, yeah, I can see myself being a part of it, and we still use it. The weakest part of the process to me is if you can get a sales professional to have a conversation and stop looking at the sheet that the desk manager is giving them to fill out questions with, but after a conversation, if they can recap what the customer says, now we can say, I'm having a good Tuesday. I got everything right. Here's what's going to happen next. I'm going to bring a vehicle right through there. And you see where that car is? Yeah, I'm going to put it right there. We'll continue on with the process. Right? We call it the walk around demo ride. You've probably done that before. But since you said safety, since you said performance, since you said reliability, whatever it may be, we work with a third party, completely independent company. It's Advanta-STAR. Ever heard of it? And if they have something large enough, they go to the home page of the dealership, or if not, they'll turn around the desk screen, go all the way down to the bottom to the disclaimer, just to reiterate, has nothing to do with Jim Ellis, has nothing to do with my dealership. Here's where the information is coming from. And they leave it up there so when they go back to the desk, consult with the desk manager to get the product selection right. I know what vehicle. The customer is entertained, because usually when that salesperson would leave, if they didn't like the greeting, if they didn't like anything you said as far as questioning, they're looking at their phone, they're going to get up and go to another dealership. So by having that Advanta-STAR and you found out what their hot button was or their pleasure point, now you got something to hold their interest while you bring the vehicle around. And since it's laid out, feature, advantage, benefit, well, that's what I'm just going to say when it walk around time. So it was a perfect in the brain for the customer to me, and it still works with that. So that's where we have all of our people in Planet the first time.
Yeah, because that was always one of the big strong uses was, hate to use the word, but like sort of a pacifier, because especially in a stressful environment to them, and to some of us actually, the having something positive to do. And again, now it's the phones. Back then it was a newspaper, or I
Yeah,
just got to get out of here.
right.
Where, dealerships that didn't have Advanta-STAR would often give the customer a brochure to thumb through while they were waiting.
Correct. And we both know
What
the
is a
problem with that.
brochure?
Yeah.
I mean, a brochure. I mean, that's like look through the telephone book. It's like
Yeah.
Ford
Or
doesn't even print brochures anymore.
I had people tell me I don't want a brochure because it's bias. You're trying to sell me on that. I don't want that. So that's why I
remember
said
that, yeah.
with the third party, completely independent and nothing to do with me, nothing to do with my manufacturer.
Yep, it was
So-
actually why we put research right in the name.
But works well. Still works well today. So I like what you say in the future. So do we have a time frame? About 6 months, a year
Went-
out or something?
Went live 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yep, we've been working on it for, well, the original designs were laid out actually by Walter about, what was it, Walter, about 2 years ago?
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
Oh, great job.
Now he's a graphic designer, and so he laid out the designs for it. And then the programming, the initial programming started within 6 months of that. And then, yep, we were able to finish debugging it, and it's public facing now for about 2 weeks. So if you go to the Jim Ellis and pull up one of the Advanta-STAR comparisons, you should be able to spot the difference.
Okay.
It-
I will take a deeper look, but I guess where I was going, when are we going to have these Zoom meetings
Oh,
where I can bring all of the people together? And
we can probably schedule one if you don't mind a rough beta, and for next week even.
okay.
Yep, we've been already going through some of the training materials and going through everything, and of course, we have everything set up with these new technologies and everything like we're clumsily using right now for this little podcast. But yeah, we're able to do that basically through Zoom, and as you know, Zoom will allow 50 plus different people to enter the regular conference.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yep, we can either do it by make, or we can do an overarching one that covers, just Advanta-STAR in general.
Well, Advanta-STAR in general, because I have a small group, I think about just 5 people for next week, but they range from Mercedes-Benz down to Hyundai. So that's going to be in there. So yeah.
Never know. In 20 years, you might have to flip that. They range everywhere from Mercedes-Benz all the way up to Hyundai. Things are changing.
Yeah, things are changing. But as soon as Hyundai and Kia can get on the same page, but they've come a long way. I can't knock them.
Yeah, Genesis is really giving it a strong try. Does Jim Ellis have a Genesis point?
Yes, we do. We had
That's a strong one. That's fast
the first
moving.
one. Yeah, we have one of the first ones in the Southeast, and they took the design and used ours as a model and for that. But yep.
That was another thing at the New York Auto Show. I'll send you over a picture. Was the G80? Oh, what did they call it? It was basically a G80 station wagon. But oh man, this thing was. I mean, it made an S class. Look like it should go hide in the garage or something. I mean, this thing was
Really?
amazing. Of course, there's a concept or a prototype or what have you. But
Yeah.
I mean, this. I mean. No, they have some very creditable station wagons. Well, Mercedes has the AMG E-Class wagon. Forget, is it the E53 or the E55? They keep changing the
5,
numbers. Yeah,
Yeah.
55, right.
Mhm.
And then, of course, you have the Audi RS6. If you really want to, well, actually, both of those are pretty comparable. Do you have a BMW franchise?
No, we don't.
No.
No, we
Because
don't.
for the first time ever, they've introduced the BMW M5 in a station wagon variant.
Oh, okay. Ah,
That was crazy. Let's see. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be putting on here. Up there we go.
well, okay. That's him out of the factory.
So Great Wall, you might be familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they don't have any Jim Ellis franchises because they don't have any franchises in the States yet.
Right.
That's one of the largest Chinese manufacturers. And so looks like they're going to be heading towards making a comeback in Europe, because Great Wall used to sell a decent number of cars in Europe, but I think it was during COVID they fell down and they fell back.
Basically, because I don't pay for automotive news, we get one sentence. China's Great Wall Motors plans to launch at least 10 new models in Europe over the next 2 years as the automaker attempts a comeback, which you mentioned. Their previous attempt in the market was not successful.
Yeah, and this is something that always happens. I mean, a lot of people 5 or 6 years ago were expecting a huge splash in the market by a Vietnamese manufacturer called VinFast. But it's pretty much completely quelched down now. I mean, they have a handful of dealerships. They don't have much product. In fact, the way I judge it is they have no models showing up with certification by the EPA for 2026.
Gotcha.
But here, this is Europe, and obviously, at least for the time being, there's no prospect of them entering the United States for multiple different political and economic reasons.
Right. Right.
But they're hitting Europe pretty hard, and they're coming back. So you have Great Wall, you have BYD. So yeah, we're gonna have to get you that subscription automotive news. Either that or just send me the link and I can pull it up for us.
Oh,
next
okay.
time.
I didn't realize you had it.
Oh yeah. I think I got my first subscription automotive news back in 90, 91. Back when it was just a magazine. Remember magazines?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I remember a lot of them in our house. All right. So what do you guys think about this? Can cars make a comeback? Ford Motor Company's earning report in April 2018 was a classic example of what journalists call burying the lead. And they spelled lead. I don't know if that's
They spelled lead correctly. Oh, good.
Okay. But
I'm going to go off on a slight rabbit trail. People, of course, always say burying the lead, and they spell it L-E-A-D because they're thinking it's the lead of an article. But lead actually refers to the mechanical piece that they put to make a headline. And so it's got a different etymology.
Oh, okay.
Entomology is bugs, etymology is words, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I'm a little surprised they did spell it properly.
Yeah, and this ties in with this headline as well. Why automakers are reconsidering sedans after years of crossover dominance. And they talk about how the Detroit 3 gave up on sedans and we're really focused on SUVs and crossovers.
No, except for Stellantis, but yep. Yeah,
so what do you guys think?
Pulled out pretty hard. Yep. I think, well, people usually say that cars were killed by SUV-loving moms. And there's a certain amount of truth to that.
Right.
My wife likes trucks. I don't like trucks or SUVs. I'm more of a car guy because they're compact, they're zippy, better power to weight ratio. And the only problem I have with cars is that with all the sport utilities on the road, I can't see anything anymore because they're all blocking my view.
Right.
But the big thing that actually killed cars that no one really ever considers is that in the corporate average fuel economy and in emissions and in a lot of different areas of regulation, cars and trucks are treated separately. Cars are always treated more harshly. Trucks have always had to, cars have always had to lead in the safety regulations. For instance, the third brake light was required on automobiles in 1986. Trucks weren't required to have a third brake light until the 90s. I think maybe 98, I'm not certain. And so that's always been a factor. And so that affects cost, that affects, everything. And then corporate average fuel economy is another issue.
True.
Trucks have a different corporate average fuel economy requirement for the entire fleet of an automaker. Cars were always, treated much more harshly in that area. So, you could have Escalades and you could have, Audi Q7s, and they didn't have to get 30 miles per gallon, but cars did. And so,
Good point.
that treated unfairly, things like the Impala,
Yeah.
things like the Camaro, things like,
Mhm.
even the Fusion and such, Fusion with a 1.6 liter, isn't that great, but you put a 2 liter turbo in there and you're already starting to stretch the corporate average fuel economy, and you're beginning to get in trouble.
Right, right. Um, I think even with the generations that I still see coming into our places, the crossovers, SUVs, they need the space. They need the cubic space. The people are still taking their babies to different types of events, and they carpool, or they're on traveling teams going places. So I like the concept of sedans, but I can't see it I can't see it yet.
That makes sense.
Think of a 1974 Plymouth Grand Fury station wagon.
Yeah.
I mean, that 9 passengers. You could fold the whole thing. It had a luggage rack that you could strap an elephant to. It's
Yeah, I like station
uh,
wagons.
hatchbacks, wagons,
Hatchbacks as well. Yeah.
even large sedans. I mean, the trunk in my '67 Chevelle, and that was just a midsize. I
Right.
mean, you could have 2 people like sleeping in there comfortably, as long as you weren't in New Orleans, unless it was like that certain week in February.
Right.
How has
So
GM
Go
how
ahead.
has GM been doing recently? Because I feel like this headline might be charged.
GM's doing record profits.
Okay,
You know,
that makes sense.
people don't really think about it, but the second most successful electric car sales company in the United States is General Motors.
Yeah.
They're only behind Tesla. I mean, it's not Rivian, it's not Ford with the Mustang Mach-E and the Lightning,
Right.
and it's not even the Koreans, which have put out a lot of different, very well received electric models. I mean, you have the Hyundai Ioniq line that goes from 5 to 6 to 9, and then you have the matching Kia lineup with the EV 5, 6, 9, even the N models. But General Motors is number 2 in electric vehicle sales. I mean, they have a very broad offering. Heck, they have a much broader offering than Tesla does even. I mean,
Oh yes, they do. How are they with the unions? I'm trying to figure out when is the contract up?
I don't know, because that's always been something that's affected,
I can Google
well, the
that.
big 3 much more
Right.
than the Europeans or the Koreans.
Correct.
So,
But
because Honda set up shop up in the union, the union towns.
Looks like April 2028 is when their contract expires with UAW.
Yeah, so that gives them some breathing room.
Right.
Because those contracts aren't too long, and so they got a little breathing room, because they always get hammered, and so you're right, that always affects earnings really badly.
Oh yeah.
I think the last strike has been a while. Is it they struck Stellantis and Ford, didn't they?
Correct.
Yeah. And they hurt the production, and that was right after it came out of COVID, so that was brutal.
So that's the only thing, just looking at the headline there. So just made me think about that, because when I worked for Chrysler Corporation, being a zone manager, going out to the dealerships, we always wondered what R&D was doing with their concepts and what was going to be accepted. And the first time I sat down in a meeting with the plant management in the corporation, and here comes the union rep in charge. They played hardball. So do you ever see that going away, or is that still going to be a mainstay, you think, for the American?
That's a tough one. I mean, we're married to our unions just about as closely as we are to our pickup trucks. which is funny since, all the pickup trucks that, Americans buy the most of are built in union shops. And
It's
so,
true,
it
but
makes sense.
the way it's going, I think unions are the weakest they ever have been. So maybe if that continues.
They are, but I think the only way that the unions could go away is if the companies that have them die. Uh, if General Motors, Stellantis, and Ford were to go away, yeah, that would absolutely be the end of unions. The Germans with their plants down in the deep south, and the Koreans
Yes.
with their plants overseas and in the deep south.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
wasn't it? Didn't they just try to unsuccessfully to get Volkswagen unionized another time?
Yep. They sure did.
That was the closest one they came. That's the closest.
Right, because we have a plant, Volkswagen in Chattanooga.
Right.
So-
Yeah. Tennessee. Yep.
Right with that
I
thing.
always confuse some of those because they're all across. What was
Yeah.
the first one? Let's see. Subaru had that Lafayette, Tennessee plant. Was that the first one in the South? That was a Subaru Toyota joint venture.
Yes, venture, yeah.
I
And
remember.
I still remember the commercials for that, telling people that we have jobs and don't have to worry about being union. Come interview.
And they,
But yeah.
they were very good jobs. I mean, it's not like 1 out of 10 people that work there get killed every day or make minimum wage. I don't know.
No, good.
There is a gap. But it's not very big.
When I was doing student teaching for my undergraduate in Wisconsin, the school that I was teaching at, the high school that I was doing my student teaching at, Janesville, Wisconsin, in the southeast, they had 2 plants right across the road, a car and a truck plant. And you would talk to all the seniors. Well, where are you going to go? I'm going to the plant. Pop's in there, uncle's in there. I mean, good money. And then they talked about robotics. And we will pay you at your salary to learn this new technology, or you can take the buyout. And I was amazed at that time, all those people took the buyout. They didn't want to deal with technology.
Wow.
It caught me, but this was, 70s. So people didn't want to, the folks, give me the buyout. I don't want to deal with no robotics. And that opened up a whole lot of youngsters to get inside the plants there with that thing. I never will forget that. So.
Well, people don't like change in general. I mean,
yeah.
My father retired as an electrical engineer back in the late 90s or something. And he had the same, he kind of had not the same, but he was said, well, you can retire and take a buyout package, or you can move to Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And he was going, Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So they got a McDonald's and a Taco Bell and 2 traffic lights. Nah, I'll retire and stick here.
Right.
Where I can walk up to Jazzland and get a roast beef po' boy. I can walk out to Alcee Fortier and get some banh over at Dong Fong.
Right.
I don't need no McDonald's and Taco Bell out there in the woods.
I got you. Pine Bluffs. Ooh. Yeah, I just since you're the future, and we've already talked about the past, me and Within a little bit, but I remember going to the New York 63 World's Fair, and we talked about the Jetson vehicles would be around before 2000, which never happened. I mean, I was amazed.
Was that where the Mustang was introduced? It was, wasn't it?
Yes.
Wow.
So, but I'm just in your head, Walter. What do you see? I mean, now we got vehicles driving themselves, running in the buses, running over kids. But I mean, it'll get there. But
ambulances and fire trucks and police cars,
yes,
they love hitting those. Yeah, I don't know why.
But what do you see as transportation in the future?
I don't know if I'm the right one to ask on this podcast. I don't drive a car, and
Oh, okay.
I love
That
walking.
is the future.
I
Ah,
it's possible,
okay.
No,
but
if you look at the demographics,
Yeah.
yes, that is
uh,
what young people that I know prefer public transit and prefer trains and prefer walking and whatnot. Not all of them. I won't say everyone, but that's not
but
exactly what we want to
statistically,
say on this podcast.
Okay.
the latest generations that have come up to driving age are getting their licenses at the lowest levels.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And cars are more expensive than ever as well. So,
Well,
Yep,
true.
and insurance and
Yes.
yes, yeah.
everything's crazy. And
Yeah, insurance was a main driver of me not wanting to get another car when mine broke down.
Good point. Okay, so public transportation then. All right.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I came up with that coming from the Northeast, but in
Mhm.
Atlanta, where you don't have public transportation going all the way around the perimeter, what do you do? You need a vehicle to get from A to B.
Yep,
So I
yeah.
mean, I can only walk so far in my
It's true.
community, but that might be. I don't know. What do you think, Within? I think that'd be healthier. They'd be in shape.
yep, there are two paradigms, three actually. A lot of people are moving back into urban locations.
Hmm.
A lot of people are going back in. Call it gentrification,
Yeah.
call it whatever, whatever. But a lot of people are moving back into these locations that have either robust public transportation or they're walkable. I mean, you can walk everywhere. I mean, I'm not that old, but I still remember when we could walk to a grocery store.
Hmm.
In most of New
Yeah.
Orleans, there was grocery stores.
Hmm.
Heck, walking from the streetcar to my arts high school, there was a little corner mom and pop store just about 3 blocks in where I could go in, get a Coke, candy bar, blow whatever I did on lunch,
Right.
and so that might come back,
Hmm.
but basically people are going to areas where it's walkable and where there's robust public transportation. I mean, public transportation, depending on where you are in the New Orleans area,
Right.
is pretty good. I mean, if you're out where I grew up in New Orleans East, yeah, you're sitting waiting for a bus, waiting for a huge mosquito to just come and poke you and suck all your blood out at once. But for closer in, when you're on the other side of the industrial canal, especially, there are either buses or streetcars that run almost continuously everywhere, and it's not that bad to get from here to there.
Hmm.
Any time you can't, like during Mardi Gras, you can't get here or there in a car either.
Right.
So
Anyway.
it's
Yeah.
not that
Good
big a
point.
deal.
Good
And then
point.
the big thing is the ride sharing thing, which I think it has some issues, both with the fact that it's so large and unwieldy. The two main companies, so that the people that do the driving aren't paid, and at the same time it's expensive, and but part of that is also a lot of overregulation. But
True.
but the ride sharing thing has been fantastic. I mean, DUIs have gone down as drastically with ride sharing as crime went down with unleaded gasoline.
Hmm.
I mean, direct correlative. You know, I can get in this thing and I can give it a good old try, or I could just get on my phone and somebody will pick me up in a minivan.
Right.
You'll drive right. I don't even remember where my car is. It was some, I don't know, it was off Decatur or whatever. And I'm on Frenchman Street. I have no idea where my car is. I just press the phone. They find me.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
All right.
combination.
So the industry in the future, then, when we talk about output production, if it comes to the end user from the manufacturer and the factories, I guess the next decade or two, the numbers are going to go down.
It's hard to say because you have several things. First of all, like with anything, the people that can afford to buy something will want to buy it.
Hmm.
And so the people that are on the lower areas of the economy, they have more different ways to get around than probably since almost the 60s. These things are coming back, and the ride share.
Right.
But then even a guy who lives in Manhattan. I mean, I was in Manhattan for the New York Auto Show. and I talked to a few people that lived in Manhattan.
Mhm.
And I asked them, do you have a car? And of course, the guys that were like wielding cameras and doing their job said, no, I don't have a car. Or I have a car and it's out in New Jersey or
Yeah.
whatever. But when I was talking to a bigwig, oh yeah, I have 2 cars. I have 2 here in Manhattan. I have one in Connecticut.
Right.
Well, how often do you drive them? Oh, I don't even remember. I just pay to park them somewhere.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
so you have that, and of course, that guy's not going to buy a 2012 Altima.
Mhm.
That guy's going to buy a brand new, upper middle
Jesus.
level class car. He's
Yeah.
he's going to be buying an Infinity or higher.
Hmm.
And so the
Gotcha. Good point.
market's
Good point.
shifting a lot towards more upper level cars because,
Yep.
well, if a car has to brake itself, if it's got to stay in its own lane, I mean, since 2011, it's had to have stability control. As more and more of these features that cost money have to
Mhm.
be put in an automobile, well, then the whole car has to move up market to be able to allow some profit for them. And so
Correct.
the market changes from selling a guy a Hyundai Excel for $7,000, to selling him a Hyundai Santa Fe for $40,000.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
Yep. This is from
things change.
CNBC. Car prices are still hovering near all-time highs, but one of the main reasons is that automakers are stacking their lineups with high-end vehicles. As of August, the share of new cars sold over $50,000 was almost double what it was in 2019. And this was in 2025, so it may have continued that trend, or maybe it's reversed a little bit. There were
Right.
about 33 models for sale with a manufacturer's suggested retail price, or MSRP, above $100,000 and 18 below $30,000. So
Hmm.
if automakers don't focus on that under $30,000 market,
Yeah.
I probably won't end up buying a car for a while, but I'm not sure.
Um,
And it comes and goes.
no, it does. It does.
Mhm. And
Since you're there, or maybe you got it in your head already, but maybe Walter can find it. But I think it was out in California. I don't want to say long ago, but one dealer group uh, financed 120 months. That's
Yep.
That's crazy.
I hope
I
they
mean,
threw in a really good service contract with that.
but man, because I know for a while, 96 was about the top that I had heard about, and that was around this area by some of the buy here, pay
Oh, yeah.
here's. But I
You should
thought it was
just
out in
hear my wife
California.
when we talk about 60.
Oh yeah,
She's finally settled into it, but she went crazy when I got the company car back in 18, and it was 72. I mean,
Hmm.
she lost it, and no matter how many times I told her, it was 0% interest. Why would I care that it's 72 months? It's 0% interest. I can literally put the entire amount away in a bank account, earn interest, and
Yeah.
have an automatic withdrawal on the thing and come out ahead.
right.
If they would have done 0% interest for 120 months, that would have been a no-brainer.
Yeah,
But yeah, it is crazy because 60 we were scraping people off the ceiling quoting 60 months back in the 80s and early 90s and stuff.
that
Well,
reminds me a little bit of like the 60-year mortgage or something like that, but also it reminds me of how people are like taking out loans to buy to DoorDash food to their house.
Yeah.
Like whenever you're checking out online, it's just like, do you want to pay for this now, or do you want to pay for it in 4 easy payments over the course of like a couple of weeks? Because they
Hey,
know
when it's
you're
0%, that's just like,
oh, it's not 0%, it's
oh,
predatory.
yeah. Oh, well, yeah. So that's a problem because like my
Yeah.
wife buys things on QVC, and every once in a while, they always have I forget what they call theirs, the 4 easy payments, but let's just call it that. They
Right.
have a special name for theirs, and let's not even violate their trademark anyway. So, and she never takes it because again, she's like that. But every once in a while they do it, and it's 4 easy, and it's the exact price of the doodad divided in 4 because they're doing no interest.
Right.
And I tell her, do that. She says, why would I want to keep paying for it? It's math. Just do it. Like she wants to pay off our 3% mortgage ahead of time instead of paying off the 6% on this thing or this other thing? And I go, no, the mortgages last. Yes, if you've paid off everything that's over 2.5 or whatever it is percent, then you can pay ahead of the mortgage. But even then, if the inflation rate is 3 or 4%, even then, dear, you just don't do it.
Right. Well, we had, I came up with the concept in Georgia here. We have an organization called Georgia's Work-Based Learning. Naturally, vocational schools have dried up, and you can go to some technical schools, but pay the money and hope that their career center can place you somewhere.
Yeah, because some of them are still scams. Yeah.
Right. But what we did, since their mission statement had life skills learning, I sat down with the Northwest Regional and said, hey, Jim Ellis, we would love to take the seniors that are going to be graduating in May. This was last month at all 22 of our stores. They picked a different high school near them. And the 20 seniors or so would come in. Service would talk to them, the service manager, and say, no matter where you get it, off the street, Facebook, from a dealership, buy here, pay here, here's the 5 major things you need to be watching out for. Sales would come in and say, okay, well, here's what we do because we have to. We signed an agreement with the manufacturer, but watch out for the independents. They may be all over the place. But the biggest thing was finance, when the business manager would come in and give them some math, like you said, with them. Here's 6.9%, and here's 19.7. Let's do the math, and you're 18, and they're sending you all these credit cards, and you miss 1 or 2 payments, and now you're in your 20s, and your life has changed, and before you know it, it's 30, and you're upside down, and you can't do anything. But what we wanted to get into these youngsters' head is that moving forward in their 20s, that their credit score is really what they need to be concentrating on as far as their income. Keep that in good shape, and they'll be in pretty good. And I just looked at it as that I want good tax-paying youngsters out there. People can pay some taxes out instead of me just putting my money in and it's just going to the waste here with that. But I'm imagining it probably got something like that in Louisiana also. But in Georgia, they call it work-based learning. So we get an opportunity to get some good seasoned technicians who've been introduced to ICE and even some diesel with that. So that helps out a lot because naturally technicians are retiring. So we can fill them in. And so
people don't realize, and it's in all of those types of trades, that the replacement level isn't even there. I mean, every place is scrambling to get technicians because people were done a disservice when everything from the media to the culture said, you have to go to a 4-year college or you're nobody. I mean, they didn't even say you had to do it to succeed or you had to do it to get a good job. They implied that, you were dirt if you didn't go to a 4-year college and get a 4-year college degree.
Right.
And you were still a lowly plebeian unless, you had a master's degree and a PhD, which, obviously 4-year colleges, even associate's degrees, all have valuable different things that, that they can enhance. But a plumber over his lifetime will make probably about 2 to 3 times as much as somebody that has a degree in literature.
Yeah.
Probably about 5 times as much as a guy who's got a degree in French literature.
Yeah.
I mean, we need people to study French literature. We just don't need nearly as many as we're putting out.
No.
I mean,
I thought maybe I didn't tell you, but I do help out HR because I look at sales resumes, and you hit it on the head. People with bachelor's and master's, and they're applying for automotive sales or to be a service advisor, and is this what you really want to do, or what happened? And you just hit it. Well, the family told me I had to go to college, and I just went, didn't pay attention. So you're right. But what we're trying to do, or what I've got them convinced to do, let's just grab them right out of high school. And I'll just give you one example, because his year's almost up since it's almost May. We went to a high school trying to get some technicians. The young man said, I don't want to be a tech. I want to be a salesperson. And this is a 17-year-old person. I want to be a salesperson. So, okay. So he
It's
graduated.
fun.
Yeah. Came to our university, found my office, would not budge. And so he turned 18, couldn't get him into Highline, but Hyundai. Manager took him on because I said, if you can show up on time and follow directions, young man, you can move out of your parents' home. The year's almost up. Out of the 10 months he's been there, 9 of the 10 months he's been salesman of the month. He's at a 170 clip, 170. Moved out of his parents' home. He lives in Buckhead, which is a nice community.
Yeah, that's a nice area.
car. And so we're just trying to go after the youngsters now and eliminate these people that went to college for nothing for liberal arts. And this way we can almost like a farm system in baseball, single A, double A, triple A. And
They're a lot more. They're like sponges at that age.
Yeah.
Yep.
He doesn't know how dangerous he is. He just keep following directions. That's all you got to do. Follow directions.
I mean, an associate's degree, I feel, is almost one of the most valuable college degrees, because in an associate's degree, you haven't blown $100,000. You haven't blown 4 years. You haven't, but you can get a lot of more specialized knowledge depending on which associate's degree you get, or just an abundance of knowledge. But there's so many people who dropped out of even high school and had a vision and had a thing that they've wanted to do and wanted to go to, and like he wanted to be in sales, and it wasn't like, oh, I just want to get out of my parents' house. You know, he wanted to be in car sales, so he had a path and he knew what he wanted. So that's got to be at least a good part of why he's successful like that.
Yeah. Naturally, we wish we had more of them, but he does have a goal, has a dream. He doesn't know it yet, but in June, we're going to just let him go to finance school just so he can see the horizon of the future. Not that he's mastered the sales part, but he can see that, hey, I can stick with this family group and I got a future here with that then. So, but if I can find people like that every day, it'd be great.